Hello, this is PA3. So I'm gonna make it in less than 5 minutes. So I'm gonna start with the idea. First is point class, which I'm gonna close now. I just made it to make my life easier. These are ints. It takes doubles and ints, but it counts them as int. So that's good. I have a printing method to make it easier. Okay, so let's start with the square. The square has a position, which is a point. It has a width, and it has an array list of points inside that square. So what I do is I add the position, of course the center, to that list, and then I have this for loop that adds every int coordinate inside the square to this list. So then the jewel extends that. I don't know, it's useless kind of now, but it helped me know, like I instantiate it as a jewel, so I know it's a jewel, and it helps me know what it is. Okay, so this is the disk. This has a boolean, whether it has played or hasn't played. It has a time, and it has coordinates, of course, and I have this array list that is a track. It adds every coordinate that the disk has moved. It has both velocities and a radius. So it's a constructor. It can take radius and position, or it can take just the radius and then it calls the constructor in position 0, 0. So I guess this is the big part. Let's just... okay. So I take two velocities, x and y, and I set my velocities to those velocities. I set the disk to those position, and I set the counter to 0. So I restart the velocity every time I call this method. So now I want the disk to move till it touches the floor, so it's while y is bigger than 0. And then I add the current point, and then I ask if that position falls into any of the squares. So I have a for loop that runs over all of the squares in the board, because I pass the board as a parameter. So I have the board, and for each square I ask if it falls inside those coordinates. I ask if it falls inside the jewels. If it falls inside the coordinates, then I set this y to -10 so it doesn't run again. Same thing with these, but I remove the jewel. And same thing with this, it asks for if it falls inside a disk that has played, right here. So I also break out of this thing. And then if none of this has happened so far, then the disk can keep moving. So I increase the time unit, and I set the velocity to, like, the counter right now, what would the y velocity be according to gravity. And then I get the displacement in y, displacement in x, and then yeah. So if y is not then it keeps going with the while loop, and it happens again, and it happens again, and it happens again, and it keeps adding the corresponding coordinates. So then it sets this to true, it restarts the velocities again, and then it asks if there are no more jewels, then it wins. If there are no more disks, then it loses. This, if you pass an integer time of, like, do you want to know where the disk is, you can pass... oh, this makes no sense. I'm gonna change that. Oh no, it makes sense. So the array list, I have the counter increasing by 1 integer. So the array list would, like, corresponding at time 1 I have this position, at time 2 I have this position, so I have an integer time, and I return the position at the time. If I get a double, then I use the equation to return the time. But I don't know. So I know the parabolic, like, when I run the game, which I create a disk, I add those disks, I add those squares, and I add one jewel right here, and I play this. Like, I don't really know if it's running or not. I just know that I'm losing. I guess none of these hit, but I know they are moving and doing what they should be moving, because I print the track list, and let's say I want to, like, increase it by 0.1. Okay, so I cast them as integers, all the points, so I know I can see it goes up, and then it goes down, and it goes up, and then it goes down, and it goes up, and then it goes down. Goodbye.